The secret of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is finally out after the Supreme Court made their ruling. You know, nobody celebrates this whole ruling in Nigeria, but one of the judges have finally come out after making the ruling. He finally come out to expose everything regarding how everything's up in the Supreme Court that day. And you know, the protest is already going on in the diaspora, most especially in UK, that Tinubu must go. So a lot of things is already going wrong in Nigeria at the moment. I would like us to stay connected to the end of this video. The judge have finally exposed everything regarding how they make the ruling and the reason why they favor Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We don't really know what transpired among them. Stay connected to the end of this video. If you can share to different social media platforms, let it go viral. And if you can share, just like it, give it a thumb up as you're watching it, so that it will be recommended for us. We'll stay connected. I'm coming back again.
Welcome you back to LAJUPOG TV.
I don't have bad news for you today.
The home of religious gossip.
But you should leave the fight for Mohammed.
What is happening in the Christendom? Join now to make sense with LAJUPOG.
Hello my great and wonderful viewers, welcome back to LAJUPOG TV. For those of you coming across this channel for the very first time, ensure you click the resolution button appearing on your video screen, and do well to click the notification bell icon so that whenever we drop a new video in few time, YouTube will easily let you to know. A lot is really happening in the political zone. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is in serious trouble. You know, the tribunal make their ruling few months ago and they make it in favor of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Likewise, the Supreme Court made their ruling few days ago and they make it in favor of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You know, they're supposed to make the ruling in November 2, but they've reversed the ruling back to October 26 just because of what they want to do, just for them to perform their enterprise, because they know that tomorrow, which is on the 30th of October, that is when the FBI promised to release the files of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So Tinubu have been doing everything possible to block the file from coming out to the public and all of that. You know, they said it's a criminal record of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but Tinubu have been using his lawyers in the United States of America just to block the road to which the FBI want to release that, because they don't want it to come to public. But that is not where we're going to. Something is already happening in the judicial system of Nigeria. You know, I said it earlier and I said a lot of Nigerians in the diaspora, they already make a protest that Tinubu must go after the Supreme Court made their ruling, because everyone believes and it's obvious that the Supreme Court perverted justice in cause of this whole thing, because all the evidence that was brought to court by PDP and LP and all of that, the Supreme Court overlooked the evidences. They did as if they didn't see the evidences, so they favored Bola Ahmed Tinubu with their ruling. The judgment did not even take long. It was a single judge that spoke from beginning to the end. In the court, the remaining 6 other judges, they were all mute. They didn't utter a single word. The Justice Okoro did not give them a space to talk. They did not say anything. They couldn't say anything because the Justice John Inyang-Okoro was saying everything and was speaking on behalf of the other judges. So the other judges are just there like a figurehead and all of that. But at the end of the day, he favored Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the research have gone out now that same Judge Okoro that made the ruling in favor of Bola Ahmed Tinubu have been charged for corruption in 2016 during the regime of Buhari. They charged him for corruption and the DSS arrested him and all of that. And it is that same judge that served as the leading judge in the judicial system in the Supreme Court, and he favored APC. So a lot of things are already going on in this country, but the judge have finally come out to expose everything after they make their ruling. When I'd like us to stay connected to the end of this video. If you can share to different social media platforms, let it go viral. And if you can share it, just like it, give it a thumb up as you're watching it, so that it will be recommended for us. A lot is really going on because they are already celebrating corruption in this country. They are already overlooking legality, and they are already promoting injustice in this country. So I'd like us to stay connected to the end of this video as we hear what the judge exposed. I'm coming back again.
In 2015, when President Muhammad Buhari became the president, the budgetary allocation to the judiciary was 70 billion naira. In 2018, appropriation bills submitted to the National Assembly, the president allocated 100 billion to the judiciary. The legislature increased it to 110 billion, 10 billion above the 100 billion appropriated for the 2017 fiscal year. At the end of President Buhari's tenure in 2023, judiciary's allocation had increased to 130 billion. 130 billion. This is an increase from 70 billion to 130 billion in 8 years. accessible by the judiciary to 165 billion naira. If one looks at what has been given to the states, each state was given 5 billion to solve its problems brought about by the conditions we are going through because of the fuel thing. If you look at what is given to the judiciary, and yet we are still saying that the judiciary is being emasculated, I think there is something wrong somewhere. More than 80% of the amount appropriated by the 9th Assembly has so far been released to the judiciary. It is envisaged that the additional 35 billion naira will equally be released by the present government. I'm sure it will be released by the present government because I know the antecedents of Mr. President. But when he was governor in Lagos State, I was privileged to be in the Lagos State Division of the Court of Appeal, and I knew his attitude towards the judiciary. I don't think he would be flippant to say that he's doing this and to decline from doing that. I'm very, very optimistic that that amount of money will be released to the judiciary as well. Now, notwithstanding the phenomenal increases in the sums appropriated and released to the judiciary, justices and officers' welfare and the quality of service of the judiciary that the judiciary rendered have continued to decline. There is a terrible decline in the services and the welfare of justices and officers of the institution. I should know, and I know, and I'm saying it as I know them. It may interest one to know that, and this is another ridiculous thing, that the Chief Registrar of the Supreme Court earns more than the justices of the court. It's not something of today. This anomaly has been in existence all these years. I was a Chief Registrar in 1986. I knew what salary I do vis-a-vis what the judges of the High Court that I serve were taking. Supreme Court is the apex court. And yet, the Chief Registrar of this court earns much more than I do, earns much more than we all do. And nobody talks. Nobody talks. While she earns 1.2 million a month, justices take home 751,000 naira in a month. The Chief Justice on his part takes home 400,000 plus. The Chief Justice. The salary of a justice, curiously, drops rather than increases when he gets the added responsibility of being a Chief Justice. That the unjust and embarrassing salary difference between the justices and the Chief Registrar still abides, remains intriguing to say the least. It is highly intriguing that this anomaly, we all know it, and nobody has taken it a duty to do something about it. Valedictory session after valedictory session, lapses and challenges that should be named are stated to no avail by the silence and seeming contentment. The process of appointment of judges and the quality of judgments of courts. A couple of years ago, appointment to the bench was strictly on merit. Strictly on merit. Sound knowledge of the law, integrity, honor, and hard work distinguished those who were elevated. lobbying was unheard of. Lobbying to oppose justices into their chambers by people who seek to be elevated, that the judges should put in words for them, were unheard of. You will just be sitting, and if those who are given the responsibility of making the elevation find you worthy, you just get a letter to that effect. You wouldn't have gone to anybody to ask for any favors or recognition. But that is not the case today, unfortunately. I never lobbied, not at any stage of my career, to secure any appointment or elevation. And I challenge anybody to contradict this statement of mine. As much as possible, the most qualified men and women were appointed. That can no longer be said about appointments to the bench these days. The judiciary must be uniquely above board. Appointments should not be polluted by political, selfish, and sectional interest. The place of merit, it must be urged, cannot be overemphasized. Now I will move to public perceptions. What perceptions the public has about the judiciary. Public perceptions of the judiciary have over the years become witheringly scornful and monstrously critical. It has been in the public space that court officials and judges are easily bribed by litigants to obviate delays and or obtain favorable judgments. His Lordship Adolfo at the point of exiting had enthused inter alia as follows. Please, I expressed everywhere by the generality of the public. He is one of us. The person making this observation was one of us. He says, please, I express every day by the generality of the public, begging the judiciary to be just, to be truthful, and to save the country from collapse. My question is, whether the judiciary needs to be built or cajoled. What is it that qualifies any person to bear that exalted name, Honorable Justice? Is it not for him to administer justice without fear or favor? Unfortunately, it has been severely vilified, with the apex court so denigrated and called by a social commentator as a voter-gather of useless, purchasable judicial bandits. How did the judiciary get to this level? That is the profound question His Lordship was asking as he was exiting. Why is the whole country on edge for fear of what the public regards as unpredictable judicial pronouncements? Like I said, he was one of us. There must be a rethink and a hard reset. If the people we have sworn to defend have lost confidence, there is a problem that must be addressed. Recently, fresh allegations have been made that children and other relatives of serving and retired judges and justices are being appointed into judicial offices at the expense of more qualified candidates lacking in such privilege and backing. It is asserted that the process of appointment to judicial positions are delivered people to become presiding justices knew themselves and when they would become such officers. But now the perception is that now justices have been appointed out of time. And there is the further issue of the unpredictable nature of recent decisions of the courts as well. A number of respected senior members of the bar inter alia, and I'm glad the president of the Bar Association has also alluded to such comments made by practitioners. Some of these senior members of the bar inter alia, citing the Ahmed Lawan, the former president of the Senate, and the Imo governorship appeals, claim that decisions of even the apex court have become unpredictable. It is difficult to understand how and where, by these decisions, the judicial pendulum swings. It was not so, they contend. In some quarters, the view is strongly held that filth and intrigues characterize the institution these days. Judges are said to be comfortable in companies they never would have kept in the past. It is being insinuated that some judicial officers even campaign for the politicians. It cannot be more than fine. President Muhammadu Buhari in 2016 ordered the forceful entry into the houses and the arrest of justices, some of whom were serving at the apex court. Not done. In 2019, the government accosted, arrested, and arraigned the incumbent Chief Justice before the Code of Conduct Tribunal for alleged underhand conduct. With his retirement apparently negotiated, he was eventually left off. In 2022, a letter signed by all the justices of the Supreme Court, including the current Chief Justice, the aggrieved protested against the shabby treatment meted to them by the head of court and the Chief Registrar. At the center of the friction was their welfare and the cavalier attitude of the Chief Registrar there. In the event, His Lordship Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad disengaged ostensibly on grounds of illness. Now, it must be said, Chief Femi Falana is right, that the safeguard in our appointment procedures against judicial appointments for improper motive is increasingly being compromised. Certainly, by Rule 8.3 of the Judicial Code of Conduct, any judge who takes advantage of his judicial office for personal gain or for gain by his or her relative or relation abuses the power vested in him. My lords, distinguished invitees, ladies and gentlemen, it is obvious that the judiciary I'm exiting from is far from the one I voluntarily joined and desired to serve and be identified with. The institution has become something else. Then the question is, what do we do? Allow me at this point in time to report that the 1999 Constitution as amended allows each and every one of us the freedom of choosing his religion, the company he keeps, what to say. I am sure we all know where this rights are made and where the very same Constitution grants are at stake. I am a Muslim for whose conduct the Quran in chapter 4, Surah An-Nisa, verse 135 provides, O you who believe, stand out firmly for justice. Stand out firmly for justice. blessings to Allah, even though it be against your sons, or your parents, or your king. Be he rich or poor, Allah is a better protector to both. So, follow not the lust of your hearts, lest you may avoid justice. And if you distort your evidence, or refuse to give it, or refuse to say it, verily Allah is ever well acquainted with what you do. In Surah Al-Tawbah, verse 71, that particular verse further requires that believers, both men and women, should enjoy what is just and forbid what is evil. And I came across this particular quote, and I read, this is how a society goes down the drain really quickly. First, the society overlooks evil, then it permits evil, then it legalizes evil, then it promotes evil, then it celebrates evil, and then that same society persecutes those that still hold evil. Lastly, Adam Grant's words in moments like this are also instructively apposite. And I quote, when you follow a concept, any concept, always consider what would lead you to withdraw your support. If the answer is nothing would make you to withdraw your support, then your integrity is in jeopardy. Your highest loyalty belongs to principles, not concepts. No concept deserves unconditional love. Commitment is earned through character. My contribution towards reforming the judiciary is founded on these foregoing principles. Interesting in what I have said today are indices to dampen, nay, eradicate the lapses in the judiciary. The duty to revive the institution remains a collective one. We must persist. It suffices to have, for the purpose of this event this morning, a respite at this point today.
Thank you for staying connected, my great and wonderful viewers. You can hear what that judge said in this very video. A lot of people have already come out after this judge made this statement and all of that. It made a few hours after the ruling. A lot of people came out and they said this judge is part of the corrupt judges and all of that. So they were attacking him in all different social media handles all across Nigeria and all of that. They said it's not the right time for the judge to be coming out, that he's supposed to have come out before and say all these things before they made their ruling, because everybody believes that nothing can be done against the Supreme Court have made their ruling. But according to report, this judge has been a very good judge and he has been a judge that is very, very just. But the voice of one person among millions of corrupt people cannot count among hundreds of judges in Nigeria that are corrupt. For a single voice to be talking, it can't really count. That is what is happening. This judge have said it all. He said they should not allow the executive arm of government to be ruling the affairs of the judicial arm of government, because according to what we can see in course of the ruling, it was observed that Tinubu is in charge of the own court ruling and all of that. And mind you, this same Tinubu bullied the judiciary. Few months ago, he said if they should remove him, there will be anarchy and all of that. And I believe that is the game that the tribunal judges play, and even the Supreme Court. No, they were afraid of Bola Ahmed Tinubu because Bola Ahmed Tinubu, they see him as a superintendent and they see it as someone that is bigger than Nigeria itself. Because with the evidences that was provided due to the Chicago State University academic record that was allegedly forged and all of that, because the Chicago State University came out, they said they did not issue that certificate to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and this same certificate in question, Tinubu claimed to tender it to INEC, and according to reports, the certificate that Tinubu tendered to INEC is different from that of the Chicago State University, and that is to tell you that the certificate is forged automatically because the Chicago State University make their disclaimer and they said they did not issue any certificate to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So that is the issue there. But on getting to the court, they overlook this whole thing, and this thing is already in the constitution that once you swear under oath and it was discovered that you lied under oath, it attached perjury, and the minimum imprisonment for perjury is 20 years imprisonment. But Tinubu is not even removed, it's not even impeached, talk less of going to prison. Can you see what is going on in Nigeria? A lot have really gone wrong in this country, even with the dual citizenship that Tinubu acquired and all of that, even with double nominations of Kashim Shettima, nothing is being done. All these people went scot-free. That is what our judicial system did. They really worked things out for APC as a whole. They worked things out for INEC, because even Tinubu himself is the one controlling INEC, because according to report, the Yakubu that is in INEC, the Mama Yakubu, the INEC chairman, was put into office by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and all of that. Tinubu knows about how Yakubu got into office, and even this judge that made the ruling in the Supreme Court, Tinubu knows about how the judge avoided the corruption charge that was charged against him in the regime of Buhari, because they really charged corruption against this man, because according to report, that justice was found of corruption in 2016. They charged corruption against him in 2016, and that same judge worked against APC in that same 2016. But according to report, he later had a click with APC. So that is what is happening. And after he made a click with APC, they overruled the corruption charges that they charged against him, because DSS arrested him then. This same Justice Nyango Koro that made the ruling in favor of Tinubu in the Supreme Court, DSS arrested him in 2016 for corruption. But after he clicked with APC, they overruled it. They overlook everything, and that is what is happening in Nigeria. And it is that same judge that stands as the leading judge in the Supreme Court. And what are you expecting? Are you expecting that he made a ruling against APC candidate? Never on earth can that happen. It can't happen, and that is exactly what happened. He made the ruling in favor of APC, because if he should make that ruling against APC, they may bring out his file again, and himself is going to go to jail for everything that he did. The corrupt practices that he made in Nigeria is going to go to jail for it, because it's not going to be easy for him. So he gently made the ruling in favor of APC, and other judges there, they were all signing. He made the ruling on their behalf. So you can see what is going wrong in this country. You can see what is happening in this country that is called Nigeria. A lot of people have come out, they have break their PVC. A lot of people have vowed not to vote in Nigeria again, because they believe that the Nigeria democratic system is nonsense and rubbish in the highest order. So that is what is going on. A lot of obedients are out there in the diaspora agitating that Tinubu must go. With all the evidences of the petitions that was charged against Tinubu, Tinubu still goes scot-free, even without being impeached or not going to jail. So drop your opinion in the comment section of this video. What do you guys think? Are you really against the Justice MUSA DATTIJO that came out to make his own speech and comment regarding the judicial system of Nigeria after they make the ruling, and he telling them that they are very corrupt and that corruption needs to be removed from the grassroots? Are you against this man? Drop your opinion in the comment section of this video, and if you are for him, still drop your comment in the comment section of this video, because a lot of people are already castigating him. They said he is one of them before he retired. That why is it not that he's now coming out to talk about this whole thing? So drop your opinion in the comment section of this video, as I'm going to create nothing noted for you. Ensure follow me on my social media handles on Facebook at LAJUPOG TV and LAJUPOG Entertainment, and on Instagram at LAJUPOG. You can also follow us on TikTok at LAJUPOG. Guess what, guys? See you in my next video. Bye.
I see the hot for my body, I say make I yarn you. Religious gossip plenty day for body. Pastor with the line on top, be pastor. For LAJUPOG Watch TV. Pastor with the back, where politician with the do pass himself. Corrupt leader, all the while you with the for church. All as LAJUPOG Watch TV.